Welcome to Module 4 Lesson 7. In this lesson, our firm will find information to take into account to evaluate, select, and implement some of the strategies that we have watched in Lesson 4, 5, 6 in order to achieve its aims. First, we will see the criteria used to evaluate strategies in order to identify the best strategy or alternative. Secondly, we will know useful tools to succeed in the implementation process. And finally, we will learn what it is the stage of strategic control. To evaluate and, if necessary, to select the strategies that we consider most valuable for Solsona mountain tours, we should consider the rational criteria, which are the most controllable, but also the irrational criteria. First, we will assess the adequacy of the different strategies to the situation and needs of our firm, taking into account the external strategic context, environment, and the internal as the availability of resources and the organization of the entity. Second, we will analyze the feasibility of the strategies, that is, the possibility to implement them in case they were selected, according to the resources that our firm has. Third, we will consider its acceptability, i.e., the ability to fulfill the objectives of our owners or shareholders and their stakeholders. Finally, the irrational criteria, the ones related to intuition or the exercise of power, can also help us to identify a priori, the best strategy. For the implementation, it is useful that Solsona Mountain Tours develops a strategic plan. This plan will include a description of the objectives and decisions taken, the allocation of resources, and the next steps to achieve a successful strategy. The success or failure factors within the implementation of a strategy will be linked, among others, to the ability of the management of the entity to manage and lead the activity of the staff in such a way that the objectives will be achieved effectively, to the organizational structure and culture, and to the administrative systems for planning and control. The 7S McKinsey framework can help us to analyze the risk of implementing a strategic decision. McKinsey & Company, the most famous worldwide consulting, developed a checklist to implement the strategies of a company successfully. The model is based on 7 factors, beginning with S in English: style, staff, systems, strategy, structure, skills, and shared values. The diagram has 6 areas interconnected by a center, where the sphere of shared values is located. The objective is to conduct a comprehensive diagnosis and assess the strengths and weaknesses of every aspect of the entity. We must focus on those factors that we have not yet defined. It is important to establish the greatest number of possible connections between the spheres. This indicates a good degree of management. If it is not possible to make links between 2 or more aspects, the diagnosis indicates a deficiency. The control will allow us to review the whole process and to detect the possible anomalies to correct the implementation process and, if necessary, of the same strategy. To succeed in the implementation of the strategy, it is important to design systems of information, indicators, that allow us to measure the results of the entity and to detect the changes that can affect the success of our strategy. With a proper formulation and an excellent implementation, our strategy will be a success.